The development of a mine at Nyinehin Pasaso and the construction of an alumina refinery is part of 4 projects by GIADEC to propel Ghana towards a comprehensive aluminium industry, eliminating the export of raw bauxite. Miscellaneous SA, recognized for its role in the energy transition and green metallurgy, will conduct a mineral resource estimate for Nyinehin Block C in the next 18 months.
The foundations are now in place for us to lead in the development of an IAI. The opportunity that lies before us is to anchor Ghana's industrial transformation agenda to boldly diversify our national economy, deliver high-value jobs, and become a leading industrial powerhouse in Africa. The project envisaged allows our partner to capitalize on existing capabilities and operational excellence and to drive successful implementation with sustained benefits to our communities and the Ghanaian economy. Your Excellency, the future that GIADEC envisions across the bauxite aluminium value chain is informed by current trends. Climate change, the energy transition, the quest for a decarbonized future will require an increase in global demand for aluminium, with demand for aluminium and related products set to grow significantly by 2050, according to the World Bank.
Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, emphasized the government's commitment to environmentally sustainable resource exploitation.
Today, Ghana is the undisputed hub of the mining industry in Africa, where all mining and mining-related activities, from exploration to downstream production and from research to innovation, is centered. And ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, we are gathered here to sign an agreement for a strategic partner to develop another bauxite mine with a refinery solution at Nyinehin, which will become the fulcrum around which President Akufo-Addo's vision of an industrialized Ghana will be realized. We, at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, remain fully committed to working with all stakeholders to achieve this noble vision, and do so in the spirit of transparency, integrity, and utmost good faith, thereby unleashing prosperity to the Ghanaian people.
President Akufo-Addo charged GIADEC and its strategic partners to ensure that all aspects of the value chain are developed.
I'm certain that the company, with a demonstrable experience and track record of excellent delivery, will be a credible partner to GIADEC. It is my hope that the collaboration between Miscellaneous and GIADEC will play a major role in the realization of our nation's vision of an integrated aluminum industry in Ghana. May God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you. We shall now proceed to witness the official signing ceremony between GIADEC and Miscellaneous SA. Thank you.
GIADEC is also in the process of developing a comprehensive downstream petroleum industry.
Right, so I'm coming to you from the office of GIADEC here in Accra. I am Bright Nana Kwesi Amini. We are talking everything aluminium production. This is Bottomline here on Metro TV. So with that, when I come back, I'll be telling you who my guest is tonight on the show. Don't go anywhere. All right, so my guest tonight is Michael Ansa, and he joins me here. I should say, I've joined him here in his office. Yeah, so I'm welcoming myself, and thanks so much for giving us the opportunity. Tell me, how is your office faring?
We're doing well, thank you. It's been quite a challenging time trying to bring all these projects together and trying to execute them as it were, and then trying to look for all the resources that we need to be able to do so. Like you said in your introduction, we've been through quite a rigorous competitive selection process, and that has been intentional because GIADEC was set up with a very clear mandate, and that mandate is to develop an integrated aluminium industry in Ghana. This is something that we've been looking to do over the past 60 years or so. It goes back to the time of the First Republic under President Nkrumah. We've tried to do this in various guises. We're never able to fully integrate the upstream part of the integrated aluminium industry, which is everything to do with bauxite mining, refining of bauxite into alumina, and then producing aluminium in Ghana, which is a smelter, or the smelting process. We're able to build a smelter in 1967, which operates till today, albeit in a slightly reduced or a very reduced form. We've also been mining bauxite in Ghana since the 1940s, but we're never able to bring even those two elements alone together. They were all being done by different operations. Under the vision of His Excellency, the President, we've been able to, first of all, establish a vehicle that is fully responsible for an integrated aluminium industry. A vehicle that is also able to bring together all the disparate elements, and is also able to work with other agencies of state to ensure proper coordination along the chain of achieving integration. So GIADEC, as we speak today, holds the 100% stake in our aluminium smelter Valco. It holds a 20% stake in Ghana Bauxite Company, which is the only operating bauxite mine in Ghana. And the 900 million metric tons of bauxite, which historically we've assessed that we have, has also been placed under GIADEC. So all of this allows GIADEC to have a balance sheet of sorts, and then to go into the market to look for partners to do what we do. The act that established GIADEC, which is another unique thing, gives GIADEC that mandate to be able to do a whole host of things, including setting up joint venture vehicles and various arrangements that will ensure the full utilization of the 900 million metric tons of bauxite in the development, the execution of an integrated aluminium industry in Ghana.
I was going to ask you why it took quite a time for this vision to actually come through, in as much as other sectors were working. But you've already told me that, the president had to ensure that the proper infrastructure was in place before this fit was actually established. Now, let's talk about what exactly you need.
Well, so I think, again, the choice that government has made, which is the right choice, is to make sure that GIADEC will always partner with the private sector in developing what we want to develop. So, we've gone through a clear strategy. That strategy today has defined the 4 projects that you mentioned. That together constitutes the upstream element of our integrated aluminium industry. I go back to that because having determined that, then we've gone through a process of selecting partners who will partner us in the execution of these projects, not all of them together, but individually. Each project is being handled individually. Collectively, they constitute the full integration of the upstream side of what, the IAI. So all of this has been intentionally done. When you talk about the resources that we need, government has gone some way in setting up GIADEC, or rather, the whole way of setting up GIADEC as a fully owned government enterprise. But then the capital that we need to develop the projects, we are looking for private sector partners. And those private sector partners and GIADEC will go into the market, raise the monies, to develop what we develop. And of course, government is providing all the enabling environment, the other elements such as the infrastructure that this industry will depend on, be it ports and harbors, be it gas infrastructure, railways, etc., are also elements that we're working with various government institutions to make sure they are delivered. Some are lagging behind, than the others. Railway, for instance, is a big challenge, and we're working to make sure that all these pieces are together in order to support a fully integrated aluminium industry.
But if like you mentioned, I'm still working together to make sure it works. If it delays, how bad would it affect GIADEC?
Of course, if it delays, it delays the project as a whole. Well, it delays the project as a whole. So whilst you have your plan, as in this what we want to do, even the conversations with our partners will also impact the timelines. Right. You may choose a partner. You want the partner to start work this time, for other reasons, some controllable, some uncontrollable. There may be some delays there. So the delays will come in various ways. The thing about doing a big project such as what we're doing is that you're able to look at it, holistically, look at the risks involved, look at all the competing issues, and try to then be flexible in how you manage things. So the timeline is one thing, but you can't say you start A at this time and you finish A at this time until the project is fully formed, until the timelines are clearly defined, and until also certain things are in place. If you're mining 5 million or 10 million tons of bauxite, which is the aspiration we want to get to, you will need a certain infrastructure to support that.
That's quite huge.
So your railway infrastructure becomes important. Today we're doing 1.5 million tons of bauxite. We will be able to go up to about 2 million, but that begins to put significant pressure on our roads. So the need for railways in what we're doing, in especially executing on the 3 projects plus the smelter, cannot be overstated. It's something that is essential to delivering it.
We are going to come back to that, but let me focus a bit more on the company selected to take this challenge. Mytilineos. Take me through I know they're from Greece, established 1990 and all that, but what exactly, how did you land on them?
Yeah, so we started a process, a 3-stage investor engagement process. And there are a couple of reasons why we did that. This is a very complex industry. It's important that to do it right, we learn from what I'll call the lessons of the past. So we've been trying to do this previously. We've been dealing with individual companies who are able to bring Kaiser and Reynolds, a very reputed company, to come and set up a smelter in Ghana. For some reason, we weren't able to do the refining at that time, weren't able to get them interested in mining bauxite in Ghana at the time. And we've gone through various processes till 2008 when the government of President Kufuor acquired Valco, when the then owners were leaving the country. So we've now come into these assets, and the question is, how do we best go about putting all these things together, which is why His Excellency the President set up GIADEC to drive this thing in a very coherent way. But to also make sure that we don't repeat some of the mistakes of the past, it was important that we were very measured, very intentional in how we went about selecting partners. We want partners with the operational capacity, want partners with the financial capacity, want partners with the experience, of doing these things under certain tough conditions. So the 40 that expressed interest were varied. Some Ghanaian, largely external companies or companies from outside Ghana. And we looked at all of these with a very clearly set out criteria of who we're looking for. I think the good thing about where we are is that we've been able to define what we want to do and how we want to do it. And we're looking for partners who will share in this aspiration and understand what we want to do, and then work with us to perfect it, so to speak. You'll never get a perfect plan, but work with us to refine it and to bring in their ideas. So we listened to all these people who expressed interest. That's why we went through the 3-stage process. The first stage was to listen, understand what the market was looking for, understand what partners could do, things like that. The second stage was actually looking at who had the capacity to partner us to do what we have to do. And then the third stage was looking at the best and final offers of those that we had shortlisted and seeing who we could select.
How many companies did you shortlist?
Well, throughout the second stage came down to about 20, then we came down to about 6, and we've ended up with selecting 2. So the 2 that we selected one was announced in September 2021. That's Rockshore International, a wholly owned Ghanaian company with operating experience across the West African region. And that is quite unique in itself. Today we've been able to, apart from Rockshore, we have Ghana Bauxite Company that is also now wholly owned Ghanaian company.
Right.
And if you see the investment that GBC or the new partner is bringing into GBC, that is really satisfying. We're seeing a new mine, we're seeing conveyor belts being renewed, we're seeing investments into other facilities in the mine and setting the mine up in a way that it can be sustained. With the second project, which is the one that we selected Rockshore for, again, we've carried out mineral resource estimates and understood the resources that we have there, which is going to go into the mine development plan. But the way we selected the third one, which is Rockshore International, or rather the project 3A, Mytilineos, was that they went through the same process as well, and ultimately we ended up with someone who would deliver what we call the integrated project. The integrated project is a project that has a mine and a refinery from day one. So that if you see the announcements that came out, we've selected a partner that will do a mine and do a refinery. Whereas with the Rockshore one, we're doing a mine and a refinery solution. So we and Rockshore and other partners are putting together a refinery solution. Now, it's important to stress that everything that GIADEC does has to have a value addition element to it. GIADEC is not a mining company. We're not interested in just mining bauxite and shipping bauxite. We're interested in adding value. So anything we do must have that value addition component, which is why the refinery solution is tied to the project with Rockshore, and with Mytilinus from day one is an integrated solution where they are signing up to do a refinery. Mytilinus is a very established company, energy and metals, and that's why unique, because the energy component comes into play at the refinery and especially at the smelting stage. The experience there is invaluable. So in selecting them, that made them stand head and shoulders above, companies that are just into, if you like, refining or smelting per se. They are also very experienced in working in environmentally challenged areas. Their bauxite mine in Greece is mined in very delicate conditions, and they've other things that they have that relates to their management of environmental issues. And in Ghana, our bauxite mining will occurs in largely forest reserves. So it's important that we have a partner who has strong environment, social governance credentials, and is able to work through all of these things in a very sensitive way. And I'm proud to say that the operational excellence that they bring to this, the capacity that they have, the balance sheets that they have that can help support the funding, the way we want to do this, is something that played strongly towards our selection. And of course, we're looking for somebody who, with that level of experience, can, in terms of international best practice, there's a lot that they will bring to that knowledge transfer, technology transfer, all the things that we want to see enshrined in a project such as this.
Let's talk about the long-term plan of the company, Mytilinus. And not forgetting the personnel on the ground. What's the percentage of Ghanaian involvement in the operations?
That's when you say so the way GIADEC is structured, and uniquely so. There's the first one that was with an act behind us to look after a mineral like bauxite and to build an integrated aluminium industry out of that.
Right.
Again, the act requires that GIADEC owns a minimum 30% stake in
30%.
all the enterprises that we set up, a minimum. So we can go up, but 30% is the floor. So from day one, there is that Ghanaian involvement. We're not just involved in it at the equity level, we're involved in it in how the whole thing is structured and ultimately managed and delivered in that sense. So there is strong Ghanaian involvement in there. If you take what we have, say, in Project 2 with the Rockshore International one, it is a Ghanaian company. GIADEC also has a 30% stake. So the Ghanaian equity, is starting off at 100%, if you like.
Right.
Of course, there could be some dilution of the Rockshore stake. They may bring in a partner, but we, that 30% that we have will not be diluted. And the same applies to where we are in Project 1. So in all of these projects, even down to the smelter that we're looking at, our percentage stake is significant enough
minimum
to ensure
30%.
Minimum 30%, and we can go up to ensure that there is always Ghanaian participation.
And one of the biggest problems when it comes to exploitation of the natural minerals and all that here in Ghana is concern about the environmental degradation and all that, and how we are conserving the environment and all that. I know for some time people have been worried about how our lands are being destroyed when it comes to illegal mining and the rest and all that. How do you intend to ensure that, in as much as you are mining bauxite to help the economy of the country, you are still preserving the environment? How are you going to do that?
That's a very important question, and especially for everything that's happening across the world today. You can't do mining without having a very strong, very strong environmental credentials. So GIADEC from the outset, we started off. One of the key things that we wanted to establish is how we build that strength in managing environmental issues or addressing environmental issues, how we make that a core part of everything that we do, how we bake that into our whole DNA, if you like. And I'm proud to say that we have done that to a very large extent. The selection of our partners, a huge part of that is formed by the environmental credentials that they bring, or their commitments to not just Ghanaian standards, but also world-class standards. In Ghana here, we have institutions, strong institutions like Forestry Commission, Water Commission, the EPA. They have the mandate to look after what we're doing, or to make sure that we're doing things in the right way. And in everything that we're doing, we've carried out studies, hydrology, biodiversity studies to understand the impact on rivers, impact on flora and fauna, and how we sustain all of this. And that is very much a core part of what we're doing. So if you look at the action plans that we're developing, that would inform how we mine and how we maintain all of these things, is very much a part of it. So for GIADEC, environmental issues are of prime importance. The other thing that's very important to us, of course, is the communities that we impact. So we've established, again, a strong working relationship because essentially, I always say we want to leave a legacy of good.
Right.
So that 20 years from now, you go back and say, this is where GIADEC and their partners were mining. This is the impact we've had on the economy. This is the impact we've had on the local economy. This is the impact we've had on the people. This is the impact we've had in the community's development as a whole, an active engagement in this. We've set up what we call it euphemistically 19-member committees. And these committees essentially draw their membership from the community, from women groups, from youths, from civil society organizations, from very diverse, even religious groups, to make sure that we hear that their voices are not lost in the development of what we're doing, and they are effectively the ambassadors of GIADEC on the ground, and they understand what we do, how we do it, and are able to propagate this accordingly.
All right, so I'm still here with Michael Ansah, GIADEC. What exactly are they up to? Bauxite mining here in Ghana, contract already signed with a company. I'm glad to hear that there's a Rockshore company somewhere in there, a wholly owned Ghanaian company. And so, yes, Ghana is not being left out after all. But I want to find a couple of things. I'm not going to say it. When I come back, I want to find out 3 things about Rockshore miscellaneous in connection to the mining of the bauxite, and to ensure that the environment is safe, as you just stated. Stay with us here on Bottomline. Not going anywhere. We'll be back. Back. I'm still here in the office of the Chief Executive Officer of GIADEC, Michael Ansah. We are talking everything bauxite, aluminium production, and all that here. And just for the break, he was telling me about how governments, at least there's a minimum of 30% in there. But I want to find out. Let me refer to my note quickly. So Rockshore signed an agreement to 2021 and took 2 years to conduct a mineral resource estimate. When are we likely to see miscellaneous conduct its MRE?
Yeah, so let me just correct. Rockshore took the better part of 18 months or so to complete the mineral resource estimates. It took about a year actually to do the drilling. Then of course you got the reporting and the certification of the results and all of that. So it's taken some 18 months to get to where we are. Rockshore did that in that time frame. Miscellaneous will have up to that time frame. Possibly we'll do it in less time because certain things that hampered the timing of the Rockshore one hopefully will not exist in this way.
So when are we looking at?
A
specific time?
Let's call it 15 months to 18 months. Theirs will also include all the feasibilities for the refinery and everything that they will do. So there's a bit more complexity there, but they've given up to about 18 months or so.
Okay, so we can actually say they are also taking the same time frame that was used by Rockshore to do this.
Yeah, but with a little bit more complexity because of the refinery element that needs to be concluded at the first stage.
And now to the completion, what's the structure like?
So after that, of course, then they've got everything. So you need to mine or rather do the research on the bauxite to know the type of refinery to build, which is why it's important to know that the MRE and everything to design the refinery. So after that, of course, then they go into production, which is the mine development and then the refinery development. So those are the stages that they'll go through deliver the integrated project.
How about we talk about Project 3B, development of a mine at Chebi? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so Project 3 was conceived to be the development of mines at Nyinehin in Pasaso and the development of a mine in Chebi, and a refinery, or the integrated project having a refinery. We've decoupled that for good reason. Like I said, we are very careful to make sure that everything that we're doing it at the right time and for the right reasons, and with all the right bits of information in place. As you know, the bauxite that we have in Chebi occurs in the Etiwa forest.
Right.
And
which is almost a no-go area.
Well, we use the word almost. So we believe we will mine and we can mine Etiwa.
But that's what the question is.
No. Let me finish. But the key thing is how you do it, okay? And how you do it is the design of the mine, the issues around the forest, how you protect the forest. I can't go into all the details now. And GIADEC will not want to do anything, that suggests we are sort of loosely doing things without regard to some of these processes that are in place. We want everything to be in place in the right way. The partners that we're working to will also want to make sure that everything is in place in the right way before we begin to look at these things in any way. That's why we've decoupled Project 3A and 3B to make sure we can focus on developing Nyinehin, which we have no issues pending, and then in good time, once these things are resolved, we can revisit Project 3B.
In your plan, how do you foresee this happening? How do you want to ensure that it's properly maintained well?
I mean, you chuckle, but the thing is, we're making sure that we have the right partners that we can work with. This is not something that's going to be maintained by. It's going to be the joint venture company, and the capabilities we're building the joint venture company is what will protect the investment. Okay, so you're talking about maintenance as if it's going to be there and it's not going to be maintained or managed.
I mean, it's a worry when it comes to
no.
It's a big worry.
Hang on. If you own an asset and you've invested in that asset, of course you maintain the asset. You replace equipment when you have to. You manage it when you have to. You do all the things that you have to do to maintain your asset. That's what we will do, and that is what the joint venture company that owns it will do. If you are miscellaneous with 70% interest in something, of course you maintain it. If you're Rockshore, you do the same. If you're GIADEC, whatever stake you hold in it, you'll do the same. So that's something that we will do to protect the investment.
All right. So I have this here. I mean, this was during the. Let me quickly go through it. It says signing ceremony, Project 3A, 26 January 2024, and it has a couple of things. Let me quickly take you through. I think the second or third page here on the brochure. It speaks of the energy sector at the forefront of energy transition, strategically positioned as a global and integrated energy company with an international presence across the entire energy spectrum. The partners' activities encompasses renewables, energy and generation management, energy customer solutions, integrated supply and trading, and power projects. And here it also says redefining excellence in material production. The partners' metallurgy sector holds a leading position as the only vertically integrated bauxite, alumina and aluminium producer in the EU. It boasts world-class bauxite mining facilities, alumina refineries and alumina cast houses. In 2023, the company achieved their production capacity. I'm trying to get something right. So there's a part where you mentioned about doing a proper mining. And I think it's captured here when it speaks of leading position as the only vertically integrated bauxite, alumina and aluminium producer in the EU, boast world-class bauxite mining facilities. And I want to ask this: how do we classify a world-class bauxite mining facility? If we say something is world-class, which we are expecting to see here in the country, I mean, what does it mean? What does it entail?
Maybe I should ask you that question, because world class is an entity that I believe upholds best class standards, that has operated in a way which positions it, say, even in the top quartile of that industry.
Right.
One that has shown by experience, by operations and everything to deliver on all of these aspects. That is world class. So that's a world class operation. The company that we're partnering is world-class because of what they do daily, because of the standards they achieve, because of the various certifications that they have, whether to do with in environmental issues or to do with just operating, to do with health and safety matters, etc. Their processes are proven and their processes are best in class, and that's what makes it world-class.
And just to ensure that, I mean, like you mentioned, we don't do anything to affect anybody, but then when it's world-class, it tends to profit every single person, and that's exactly what they are looking at. And it says the framework of I'm still going to refer to this brochure, because this what was used during the signing ceremony that featured the president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and it says yes, corporate profile is talks of Methylenus Energy and Metals, founded in Greece. Speaking of how it has actually with an extensive presence in across 5 continents and operations spanning 40 countries in Europe. There's a part where I say, hearing Gen Z to say, talk your talk or brag your brag. Points where you're allowed to say what exactly it means when you say, like you mentioned, they are world class. Now, Methylenus coming into the country, I want to look at their workforce, whatever it is. Ghanaians on the ground, you know. They say somebody is government is constructing road somewhere in Castle or somewhere it is, and you see a lot of foreigners who might be involved. Let's say the little work that a Ghanaian can do, we are seeing the foreign person doing it. How sure are we that the locals, the young boys are there, the young women are there? How are they going to be involved in this?
Look, I think that's very clear. They are going to come and do all these things that we're talking about here, working with Ghanaians. And again, in the agreements that we're structuring, we want to make sure that local content is at the fore of what we do. You know, you're reading the brochure copiously. There's sections in there that talk about local content,
right,
that talk about, you know, using local companies, etc. They don't want to, you know, bring, you know, thousands of people from Greece or wherever to come and work here at all. You know, if anything, they want to employ local expertise, train local expertise, and make sure that this expertise in doing what we're talking about is retained in Ghana. So over time, of course, they will make sure that happens. Initially, of course, there will be some experts that they will bring down.
Right.
But even from the drilling program that we're talking about, they're going to use Ghanaian drilling companies. They're going to use
Ghanaian drilling companies.
Of course, yeah. The Ghanaian drilling companies that can do MREs, and they are going to be using those companies. They've already gone through a process of reviewing those companies. They are going to select one of them to do that. There's no point in bringing, drilling companies, let alone the equipment, to come and do the drilling here. They'll use those sorts of companies here. And there are several other companies that they can use along everything that they are doing. When it comes to very sophisticated installations that we haven't done here before, of course, they will bring experts in. But when it comes to running these things, maintaining them, that's what will happen. We've lived in Ghana, we've seen Valco operate here, right from the 60s. Ultimately it was a Ghanaian workforce.
Right.
Today, I can proudly say that we have a fully Ghanaian management team that is running Valco, etc. So it will be in their interest, it will be in our interest, everybody's interest, to train a Ghanaian workforce that's capable of doing all of this. And if anybody will do it that way, they are one group that has demonstrated that they can, and they will do it. So that's what
I would be wrapping up very soon, but before we do that, I mean, that's your camera. Definitely, there might be conversations ongoing. What is happening? How are they going to make sure every Ghanaian doesn't feel the heat and all that? Let's speak to Ghanaians in their faces. What should be the level of trust in GIADEC for this project?
Level of trust, I mean, we have demonstrated since over the last 5 years our focus on executing this project in the best way that we can and driving execution excellence. This is a company that also believes in integrity. It believes in making sure that what we do is done in the right way. It's gone through a process of selecting even partners in a very transparent way. And what we're doing here is to make sure that we can build something for the future. We're building this for Ghanaians. We're working very closely with the communities that we engage with. We built, you use the word trust, we built a relationship of trust with them. and our communities are very much engaged in what we're doing. We've also been able to build all these structures in there that will ensure that Ghanaians take a leading role in what we're doing. Local content and all of that will be enshrined in all of the agreements that we sign. So we're looking to build for the long term. We're looking to build something that will lead to the prosperity of Ghanaians as a whole, something that an industry that I believe will be a huge contributor to the Ghanaian economy, huge impact on Ghana's GDP, and one that will be a strong pillar of industrialization in Ghana. So these are the sort of things that we're looking at, and I'm sure Ghanaians can fully trust GIADEC with what we have established.
All right, so before we quickly wrap up, let me ask you this very quick question. It says the IAI looks more long-term and will need a sound political climate if it succeed. I mean, this is a very nice way to answer this question for us to wrap up. Are you not worried with the kind of political system we have here in the country, and if it's overwhelming, it might affect the operations?
No, on the contrary, I think it's important that we as Ghanaians see this as a long-term project, and that's something that GIADEC has spent its time since 2019 doing. We've engaged, Parliament in particular. We've engaged the two main political parties in Parliament. We've talked about this program. We're almost always every opportunity with the Mines and Energy Committee, other members of Parliament, the leaders of the respective groups, to make sure that everyone understands what we're doing and that this is a long-term project. The investment required is significant. It's going to be a multi-year investment. It won't be realized in 6 months or a year or 2 years, even 5 years. So it's going to take time to realize this investment. If you look at even the Akosombo hydroelectric project that was developed in the 60s, look at the impact it has on the Ghana's economy even up till today.
Right.
This is something which I believe, if we execute well, will be a strong pillar in Ghana's industrialization program. And it's important that we do that well, that we understand that cross-party, and that's why we spend the time talking, across the party lines. This will survive many governments, so it's not a 4-year, 8-year, 12-year, 16-year.
A very non-political project.
It's a long-term project, and it's a project that we all have to commit to. And I'm glad to say that the engagements that we've had so far have been very positive and robust. We've had feedback, and some of these things we've been able to use to design the program that we have today. So I believe there's sufficient buy-in in terms of what we're doing.
So if you're out there and a bit scared that the change in government or whatever it is might affect the project, I think you have a clear answer from Mr. Michael Ansah. Nothing of that sort will affect it. And I'm speaking to him, Chief Executive Officer of GIADEC, Michael Ansah, here on Bottomline. I'm Bright. Then I'll see. Have a good night.